RPGPTV. It's been a while, but we're back. And we're back better than ever, ladies and gentlemen. I'm joined by our esteemed guests. On the panel are individuals who are all part of the Yellow Machine, part of Rawson Properties, Grassy Park. We've got Jerome Hendricks, franchise manager of Grassy Park. Welcome, Jerome. Welcome back.
Good morning.
We've got Roxanne Krauster, franchisee at Rawson Properties, Grassy Park, but she handles our rentals division, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, guys.
And then we've got Theo Snitcher, our sales partner at Rawson Properties, Grassy Park, who's joined us today to share some of his experiences. Welcome, guys.
Good
Lovely
morning.
to have
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fantastic. So, what are we talking about today? Well, besides the fact that we're nearly moving into, well, we are in holiday season, but even when we move into holiday season, people still need the knowledge that we have to provide them about our experiences in everything property. Sellers, before they think about selling their property, there's a conversation that goes on in that household with the partner, the entire family gets involved potentially, and they want to know if this is the right decision to make. Or they've got other aspirations, a new property, a bigger home, etc. Their family's growing. What's going through a seller's mind? Jerome, what do you think?
Okay, yeah, and I think it's important, like you say, you must have that family discussion before. Ready yourself. And I always say, ready yourself and ready the house. There are two components that must be done. And let's talk about the ready yourself first. What is the reason for wanting to sell? Understand the reason. What's the urgency? Is there a short-term plan? Is there a long-term plan? Where are you going after you sold? A lot of agents don't even ask the question where you're going. It's very important to make certain that the seller is catered for after selling.
Yeah.
Then, what are the financial implications? What are the thresholds that you must have sold at before you can do what you want to do? Mm-hmm. So you need to understand your financial situation before you even look at an agent. Yeah. Then, getting an agent or agency that's reputable, getting them in to do valuations, and connecting with the person so that you know who you're going to go with.
Now, that process starts with perhaps a phone call from us to the homeowner, or a homeowner calling into our offices, right? And sometimes they reach out to us via socials, to be fair. A valuation is booked. Talk to us about that process, perhaps.
So from a valuation perspective, I've always found that what's really important is to try and understand why it is that the prospective seller would like a valuation on their property. Are they looking for a valuation just for a valuation to know where their property is, or how it's grown or not grown since it is that they purchased it? Are they actually looking to sell? What is the real reason for wanting a valuation on their property? And I find that once you've sat down and spoken to the customer exactly why it is they want the valuation, you can then open that discussion as to whether they want to sell, whether they're just looking for a price for the time being. And I think that's exceptionally important, because you also don't want to arrive at a valuation and give the seller or the prospective seller the idea that you're trying to coerce him into selling. You really need that decision to come from the person that you're going to look. Yeah. And the reason that, the way that you do that really is to build up a relationship of trust really quickly, so that the person will trust you with giving them a fair valuation on their property, knowing that you've taken everything into account to make sure that it's correct and that it is market related.
Yeah, absolutely agreed. Now, just touching on that point, I always see, and Roxanne and I were talking about this the other day, agencies are always marketing and punting the fact that we provide you with a free valuation. Some agencies even talk about you're provided with a coupon, and this coupon is valid for 1 month only. And until then, your valuation is totally free. I don't like that. Jerome, maybe you can unpack that and tell us the reasoning behind that, yeah. And what the costs are that actually go into a valuation.
So there are quite a lot of costs, and I think the free valuation comes with the offer that we absorb those costs for you. Mm-hmm. So some of those costs is obviously the agent's time, the agent's petrol, yes, the systems and the tools we use to generate the reports, but it's a service we like to provide. And I think the only thing we ask from the client side is respect the time. Mm-hmm. When you make the appointment, be available for us. We're coming there to give our best service to you. So it is free of charge, but there is cost that I think the agency absorbs.
Absolutely. And I think it's important for our audience to know that there is really a cost behind it. It's not a marketing gimmick, but it's a service that we want to offer. Talking about service. Is service from any agency, or this agency in particular, different depending on the suburb we're in? Touch on that for me, perhaps.
No, I certainly don't believe that we give any customer a different level of service, whether they live in any area across the peninsula. Every single person that we see gets the exact same 5-star service that we offer across the board to all our customers. So it makes no difference if you're selling for 500,000 Rand or if you're selling for 14 million Rand. What's important is that we get you the best deal that you can have. So the buyer is happy, the seller is happy, and that is what we strive to provide to all our customers, buyers and sellers alike, is the same service across the board. There's no discrimination between area that you live in or price that you're selling at. It's one service, fits all.
I mean, we've got a recent example of that, don't we?
Yeah, I was glad Theo brought that up because he was actually involved in that and he can maybe highlight some more about it. But Theo is somebody that I think last week went to a valuation in Retreat.
Right.
For a property of about 500,000-600,000. And similarly, a month ago, Theo was involved in a sale in Fresnay Sea Point. Wow. That was for 14.5 million there. So the service he gives, the tools he uses, the expertise he goes to the client with is the same. We treat everybody the same. They all deserve the same. That home of theirs is their palace, and it's our job to make certain we handle it with care and handle it properly. And to his point, we don't see suburbs or sizes of houses. We give quality service.
Fantastic. Now, I'm going to digress a little bit. When you go on these valuations, customers either decide they're not going to sell because they just want to know how much, to your point earlier, the value of their property has grown to since the very first time they purchased it, or they decide to sell. But I know Roxanne and Jerome, I mean, we're not going to talk about rentals in this episode, Roxanne, but I know sometimes when you guys go on a valuation, customers decide, wait, what? So I can rent out my place as well? What happens in that instance when they've got a granny flat or flatlet available and they want to rent that out? What happens there?
So let me first get to the point where a client decides he came for value, or he asked us to come for valuation. And when we do that, we exhaust all options to him. So we don't just go there to say, this is how you sell your house. We say, what is your circumstance? We see what you have, and we put all the options on the table.
I think that's what I was trying to get to. We're not just thinking, great, we want to sell this person's home, or they want to sell their home. We would like to know what is their thinking behind, to your point earlier too.
And I think Theo said that we want to connect and sit down and understand the situation so that we give the best service.
Yeah.
If the best thing is not to sell your house and to rather rent out your back cottage, then that's what we'd suggest. Whether it benefits us or not, that's not important. It needs to benefit the client.
To actually build that level of trust where you can be also brutally honest. And I say brutally in inverted commas, but totally honest with your customer and giving them the real advice, the truth, not making them believe that their house is worth 3 times that it is or half of what they want for it, but to be authentic and actually try and be as genuine as possible and realistic as possible with regards to the pricing and the valuation of that property.
So I want to add on to that. Yeah. The one thing that I've learned over the years to do with valuations, it's a 3-pronged deal. It's not a one effect. You can't go there with a report and say this is what we suggest. Yeah. So I always say it's a three. Let's use the word pro and attack. So the one is we got a clinical report from CMA that tells us what the activity in the area is doing, and it almost can guide you as to what the appetite of buyers is in that area at what price. So that's very clinical. Comes from the deeds office. It's sanitized to exactly what the situation is. The second part is us going to that property and inspecting what the conditions are like. Yeah. And the third most important part is the view of the seller. They stayed in that property for many, many years. They created memories, they invested. And we want to understand they are part of the equation. It's not our valuation that we're coming with. It's a group one which you sit down. Because once we finish there and we agree upon a figure, we go in there as a team to sell it. And we need their buy-in as well. So it's very important that we trust one another in the process.
And we've had examples in the past where we have taken over from a previous sole mandate with a different agency. I won't mention names, of course. And then the price differences in our valuation, our honest assessment of the property versus what they received previously, was the reason potentially that property could not be sold.
Correct.
Sometimes these properties get way overpriced and overvalued. And so it's key to be brutally honest and transparent, but also understanding, okay, what do you want out of this property?
And I think coming back to the honesty, there are unfortunately lots of agents that go to valuations to get a mandate. So the aim of a valuation must not be to get a mandate. The aim is to provide the service. And once you do that, the client will give you the mandate, not you come for the mandate. And a lot of us go to clients for a mandate and we elevate the price of the property just to get that mandate. Whether it's fictitious, it doesn't really matter. Rather do an honest assessment, get the trust going and understand where you want to go, and then let them provide you with the opportunity.
And I think that's also so important what you say, Jerome, because living in my house where I live, that house is worth the world to me. And I would want as much as is humanly possible for that property. However, the market determines the price. And no matter how much I believe my property is worth, the market will determine what my price is. And if I want to market my value at what I believe it is, because that's what my home I believe is worth, it could take months to sell my property. And the whole idea is for that not to happen. It's to be a realistic price, an honest price, list the market and sell it in a reasonable period of time.
Because when priced right, you guys have had instances before where there's been a bidding war, hasn't there?
On a few occasions, we actually got more than what we listed. Exactly that. So you list a property for 2 million and it's priced right, and you get 10 people interested immediately, and we arrange an open house where we bring them all at the same time, and 3 or 4 people want that property because they love what's inside. And they generally start under the listing price and they'll escalate it all over.
For me, that's the perfect scenario. If it's priced right and you get a bidding war taking place, which you've experienced in the past with one of the properties, I think in Grossie Park, or was it? Yeah, Grossie Park. Now, coming back to, you spoke about, we set up show houses, etc. We do something really unique when we list a property for the first time. We involve a big media company. A video gets taken, a virtual tour gets done, and drone shots take place. That's an amazing package to receive free of charge, in inverted commas, for our homeowner, to showcase them in the best possible way. So what happens from the time it gets listed? We try and prep the customer, the property owner, in terms of, decluttering your home, doing repairs here and there, prepping the home for potential viewings. We set up show houses potentially. But in many cases, when we use this media company, your phone goes off the hook, don't you? In terms of a request to go and view that.
So we've only dealt with this professional media company over the last 5 or 6 months. And I think there's a big shift in that first 6 months to where we are now. So it just packages the property professionally, and it brings out what's necessary to be shown. And they obviously guide us. They give drones of the area. It kind of can orientate yourself as to where that property is. So it's changed the way buyers view ads completely.
And I agree with you, Jerome, there. I found over the last couple of months within the industry that far more people are viewing properties online based on the videos and the photographs that are taken, and are making decisions to put in an offer to purchase based on what it is that they see. Some people don't even necessarily come to look at the property. They look at it online, they see the video, they see the quality, they see exactly what the layout is as a result of what it is that we've put online, and they love the property immediately and they want to purchase it. So things like show houses, etc., yes, they have a place. Yes, they add value. However, I've found that more houses are selling with fewer show houses than in the past. Previously, show house after show house after show house. That somehow seems to have changed. Yes, there's a necessity for show houses, no question. But that is just somehow, in my opinion, seems to have changed slightly, that people are prepared to buy with what they see online.
We've got an apartment in Paro, we've got somebody wanting to put an offer in without viewing because he's happy with what he's seen.
Brilliant.
Obviously, we'll make it conditional to that he can come and still look afterwards, but he wants to secure the property by putting in an offer immediately.
Brilliant. And marketing's a big thing, and I'll just end off with this point. Roxanne, you had your car branded. Tell us about that story that happened on the M5, was it?
Correct. So I had a client reach out to me asking me to do a valuation on her property. And I passed the details to Jerome and we secured the mandate.
Well, because
and
they
we sold the property.
I saw your branding on the M5.
Correct.
Driving by.
So I wish we could have that client here, honestly, because that client is blown away by the service. She actually tailed Roxy on that M5, took a photo of the back and got the number, and wanted to get some advice. It was an estate, they needed advice. And I just think purely because of that, she had an avenue to call us, and the service she got from there was stunning.
Brilliant. Folks, it's been an absolute pleasure. Some really important nuggets for our audience, I am sure. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's a wrap for this episode of Everything Property by RPGPTV.